to cloud.
Now
Okay.
it's recording.
All right. Thank you. That's a good tips. All right. So now we are going to talk about another approach, kind of created from your imagination completely. We need to get used to that. So I only have one tip how to sculpt a surface. I would, the tip number one, just when you're drawing, just imagine, kind of think three-dimensionally. We've been practice this like the whole semester, whole semester. You still, I highly recommend you kind of having those all those like XYZ. Imagine there's a line converging to the different vanishing point. So just think three-dimensionally and then let's sculpt a surface. I call it kind of sculpt a surface. So how we create anything, from nothing to do the ideation sketch. So, so what should I do? So I already showed you the demonstration about that thing I made, kind of like an airship or something else. But it's just from another word. So that's what I recommend that you can, there's a different approach. So the approach number one, maybe how about we just imagine the side view. So you don't have to necessarily draw the side view because I don't know what it's gonna look like, but you're welcome to try that, try that. Okay, let's try that, draw the side view. And I always like the little change, not that completely let this tail coming up a little, maybe, and maybe this one is coming in. Okay, maybe something like this, the side view is something like this. And then when I say sculpt surface, then we just create a volume for this thing. And how about it's a kind of triangular shape, it's coming down. So can you see what I'm doing? Okay.
Yes.
All right, good. Thank you. So you still extend from this central line, you extend to the both side, right? So if it's asymmetric thing, let's keep it asymmetric for now. And then if it can fly, if it's a train, then another case. And then let's just go crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. But I just imagine there's a different plane, different shape. And also you can imagine another side. So it's very easy to find another point. It should be easier, right? Because we learned this. So we just mirror everything to this side, So that's how I usually study this ideation process. And then now we need to seal the surface because I probably can see the volume and I seal the surface. I didn't really measure carefully. It probably is not a good idea, but now we kind of could see the volume. And if you wanted something, add something in the back, and you also could add something in the back. So that's how I did those ideation sketch. And then if you want to create some contrast, maybe some propeller, you can add a little more. And you imagine there's a central line. It it did call the propeller, right? I don't know. Put a few, like it's a fan shape look. There's another one here. So you create some contrast. It's kind of like a very smooth surface, and the smooth surface suddenly being cut out, and or you create, if you want to create a more contrast, what I'm supposed to do, because I don't have any plan. So that's why I want everybody to have a different variation, create a different variation. Maybe we can create something like this. It's actually have the two layers. I don't know. So I hope everybody can see those transform. So actually this one, it's coming down, and now it's interesting. So I just feel like, okay, it's a little shape here. I hope everybody can understand. When I did this, I literally kind of see that 3D volume. So that's my point. You need to think three-dimensionally. So I created another volume here. But once I created, so it feels like there's a top surface, and the top surface is surrounded around. And then there's something happened here. And we can make anything in the center have a little offset, have a little offset. That's what I'm talking about, the kind of detail. And now it looks more sophisticated. Is that, I hope it looks sophisticated. You can disagree with me. But can you tell, I actually have a little offset here. So now we actually can comprehend this shape. It's kind of wrapping around maybe some metal piece. I don't know, the metal piece maybe wrapping around and it's coming to the front. So this part is actually expand. Okay, this also extra contrast too. So although you don't believe, I actually keep those in mind, you know, when I created those shape. You can see I keep changing forms, right? So now I just adding a little tail. So it probably could make a better transition with whatever components here. So that lines, it's kind of, it's very smooth. So I just want to play with it to see if I extend this part, if what are gonna happen. I just feel like it's very nice. Those lines, it's very smooth. So it's nice to have some contrast. Again, there's nothing wrong, or it's just, it helps you to think visually. So, and also I actually did this, maybe, I probably thought about this, like this wing expand to this direction. I actually think it's nice to have something like to have this little contrast, like this, the head part, it's actually expanded to this direction. So both have some contents. So it just be very mindful when we, okay, I need to get a better lighting. Be very mindful when we create things. So how we create the contrast. And also it will be nice. You are all very good at this part, by the way, and to the page layout. So normally, if I see, you don't need mine, you know, my line gets very messy too. So don't worry about the line actually. So that's why even you do the digital drawing, I actually encourage everybody, do not clean up. You do not need to clean up, because I like to see the process, how you get to this point, So, okay, I need to add this little detail, kind of symmetrical drawing. So think three-dimensionally. And also another point about the page layout, when we do the ideation sketch, this part, I actually pointed towards this drawing, pointed towards this orientation direction. So I would immediately kind of, this is, I'm very conscious about this. I would immediately create a different orientation. So you can starting from like X, Y, Z, and you can also, if you have any basic forms in your mind, you know, you probably already have a basic forms in your mind. Oh, you can start from that too, you know. You can start to imagine, I already have a little idea about the front, how I'm going to do the front. So maybe the front is kind of like this cone shape, and think three-dimensionally again. So I will immediately add some contour line to imagine the contour line. So now, okay, I like this. Actually, this front, it already looks very interesting. I'm sorry, I brag about this. You probably disagree with what I said. But you can see this, you can start from front, but because this one, I actually starting from X, Y, Z, right? See the volume. But this one also, you can draw a central line, and you imagine there's some volume, and you imagine there's some middle line. So you draw the front, and you let a little offset. It's kind of make it very interesting, and you can keep it, make it interesting. How about we add another edge? So that way we got a lot of details, guys. When you working on your digital rendering, you will get a lot of highlights. Believe me, trust me, and then your drawing will look very nice. So every time, why we learn value, why we need to learn shading, because surface change, right? So when the surface change and the lighting source from one side, and then we kind of when those surface didn't receive enough lights, and then it will get darker. So that's why we have those value. So believe me, you want those surface change. It will make a very nice drawing. And you also get a chance to draw a lot of highlights. Draw a lot of highlights. It kind of makes your drawing pop out. So, okay, I add a lot of enough detail for the front. I haven't done anything yet, but you can continue to imagine more of the surface, you know. So now this surface looks more interesting. I constantly change. I don't have any agenda, right? So that's why I want you to have a different variation. You play with it. Don't just don't stuck with one shape you have. And okay, who did that train? Let's do something like a somewhat train. We definitely can do that too. And you don't have to always draw the middle plane, but I do hope you can imagine that a volume. So there's no harm to do this. And how are we gonna do this? What's the plan? I don't, okay, let's go crazy. How about this? So now I just imagine this back curving down. Do you remember how we draw shoes, mouse? We always need a starting to draw the other, what's that? The contour line, right? We need to define the bottom plane. We define, I'm sorry, define the contour line. And then another middle plane. So that's how we did this. You probably can use the same method. So don't forget about what we learned in this semester. And this is just I have to admit, when I draw this, I didn't always draw the cross section. I didn't always draw the plane, but it's very fun to draw this middle, like contour line. See, I made adjustment, and then this shape immediately changed. Since I have this recording, you can go back, because the first thing I did is this, and then it's indicated surface coming down. But with this contour line, this line probably doesn't exist. We can make it exist, by the way, but it's actually, since it doesn't exist, so if you have this contour line, and then the surface changed. So it's very nice, actually. And then same thing, we need to seal the surface. So what is going to happen from another side, it's not our concern. We don't need to worry about this now since we draw from this angle, but you understand how it constructed. So I believe you can draw the ideation sketch kind of fresh, having more fresh out idea. And all right, so that's how I want to cut the surface, maybe the bottom, and since it's a tree, and I don't know, the tree, probably we need to curving back a little, give it some space, so we still have this real. And all right, so, and also we can go crazy. I said this is a contour line, it's invisible, right? But you definitely could make it visible too. How about you consider this is a different components? Maybe you want this one, it's kind of actually seems it looks like a window. You actually add more texture here, like a window, or what kind of texture we should have? I don't know, any texture, it's fine. And we have a lot of texture here, and it's create a contrast again, because we don't have a texture here, we have a texture in the back, so it creates a contrast. And also, since it's a different parts, let's make it a parting line. So it's also tape in and create a little surface, a little contrast. So we have a bigger transition, but we also have those very subtle, small transition in the back. And then maybe we can, so when I say sculpt surface, you can cut the surface, you can also increase the volume. So we can also increase a little volume here, and then maybe increase a little shape here, indicate there's something happened in the back, in the bottom. Oh, actually it's nice, because we do need those kind of things. But anyway, you can do anything you want, and maybe we could add another structure here to I don't know if this is a good idea, but just think visually. So that's why we play around to think different idea. And actually, I think it would be nice to have something. It's kind of create this consistent, make it looks like more real, not a realistic, looks like more feasible. And if you think it's not crazy enough, we can add a tail shape or something. So I really envy you guys because you create things for another universe. I think it's so cool because drawing actually could be very fun. I had a studio class with industrial design students, so that's less fun. It's also fun, but we need to think about user pain points, manufacturing constraints. So there's a lot of limitations here. So, and do you want more changes? Transformer. Okay, we can, you hated this word, transformation. Because who's that professor? Professor Cox? Chandra. She actually has this class called the transformation that I know it's give you a very difficult time, but believe me, this is the best assignment I ever seen. It's very nice. I think that's a very nice assignment. It's give you a chance, it push you. I do understand it push you to the limit, there's a lot of work. I cannot imagine, Chris showed me, I just feel like, oh my gosh, I never did anything like this before. So I really admire you guys, and that is really some piece on your portfolio, can brag about that. Okay, I don't like this one I added here, but this is just me making a point. We can certainly, did you see I just added another volume, right? Add another volume on the top. So I just made it up. I also want to explain why I don't like it, because I feel like it's repeat. It's too boring, because this part is kind of like a U shape. And then I use U shape again here. So that's why I feel it's less interesting. So if I have a chance, I really want to keep that one down. So I'm going to use my eraser because I hate it. So that's why keep that principle of design in mind. Do you see it looks better? Since we have a recording, you can go back to check if that one looks better, because I just feel very bored, because I accidentally created this U shape on the top, but I had this U shape here. Okay, but you probably want to ask, I just talk about the repetition. Why repeat? Because, okay, repetition meaning you need to repeat many times. That's called repetition. But only repeat it twice, it's kind of boring. Does that make sense? Okay, only repeat it twice. Why it's boring? I have to make up some reason. We can talk about this later. Only repeat twice. It's just not enough. All right. Okay. Then you can you can continue make an adjustment. What if this age also kind of different? Coming out. Also, this side we cannot see, but you definitely can measure another side. You probably can see a little. Converging to that side, right? Converging to that side. You can see that mirrored page. So that's my point. Think three-dimensionally. All right. How long it takes? I think it's enough for the recording. If it's too long, you probably feel it's boring. So does it make sense? Any questions? Oh, I actually didn't make my point, how to create starting from a box. I just explained how to from a different plane, but you can still starting from the box, but just don't be present by the box shape. Okay, can I quickly make another demonstration if you don't mind? Okay. Thank you, Grant. Kind of communicated with me. I really appreciate that. Online session is tough. People just don't want to talk anymore. And yeah, I really wish I could, we can meet again next semester. I really want to meet you in person, meet you all in person. So I know it's just, we just start. Okay, it's not a, oh, hold on a second, hold on a second. Okay, I couldn't find my recording. Am I recording already?
Yeah, you are.
It's recording. Mhm.
So I never stopped. Okay. I hope I didn't say anything improper. Okay. All right. So the box, you can study. We already introduced this method, kind of like the different axis, right? It's a different axis. But key point, you think three-dimensionally. And that's this part, I studied it from the front plane. And you definitely can study from the, like the front plane. And then you draw another, like the bottom plane, whatever you want. The bottom plane, something like this. And then you use your imagination to add some middle plane somewhere here. Okay, I have to change. I keep making the similar shape and a similar form. So I just add another middle plane to imagine this shape. So now the back looks something like this. The back is something like this. So that's how we connect them. So the front is like that. Okay, I like that already. So let's give it a little plain look. Plain look. Okay. My perspective maybe not always right. I apologize for that. So, I keep drawing this. It's just, me to imagine those lines. So it's just my method to find find another side, like mirror everything from this side, from the right to the left. So now we got this shape, and let's use some imagination. It's coming down and coming out, coming up. Let's see that. And maybe something like this. Okay, I'm not very happy with this shape and this form. I really want to change. Why I didn't very happy. I guess it's just very narrow here right now. I don't know, but that's my point. We think visually to see if we could make any adjustment. And no. Okay, my apologies. This is not an ideal situation. Okay. All right. Let me see. Okay, now we had a little volume in the middle. Okay, now it's a little interesting because we have a little shape here, little volume here, and I don't know what's that. What's that? Maybe some weapons. I don't know. Just go crazy. Maybe some weapons. Let's go crazy. It's actually create a very nice texture because it goes different. So my point is, this is this is my demonstration. Like we studied from the front plane, bottom, the back, the plane. I also imagine another volume. So we have a many transition along the way. So that's why the shape will look more interesting, and you can continue make changes. Even this wing, it could be turning up a little, right? Turning up a little. It doesn't have to be always flat. So that's how we transit. Okay. I said I want to make another demonstration to use a box, but I just can't help to just show you. We can do from the back, front. We can do that too. But that is not a start. That's all from the different plane. But we definitely certainly can start it from a box or volume. I don't know if you have anything in your mind. And let's do something like this. Maybe those kind of shapes, those kind of box. So you can start it with a box because box already give us a value. It's nice. So, but sculpt the surface. So as if you are doing a sculpture in the real world. So you need to imagine, how we add some volume or cut some shape to make it, transform it into something we need. And how about we cut some surface? In the treehouse, we cut a lot, but let's cut it, use some some hyperbolic surface to cut it. How about we use some, I like that idea. Okay, let's do that. So then you probably need this curved edge curving down because it indicates how the hyperbolic surface is always kind of very organic. It's a, you know, how about this surface? I'm not sure if I can pull this off. Okay. I didn't really cut. When I cut, actually, I also, okay, I have to cut this volume here, and then this hyperbolic surface looks more real. So does it make sense, this surface? Now you actually can see the surface, it's curving down here, but it's coming up here. So that is what I'm talking about, the hyperbolic surface. But when you draw this, you always keep that in mind. Those reference points need converging with the rest of the line. So we need a converging. So I cut a little corner on the top. Did you see? I actually, this surface actually something like this. So I have to admit, sometimes I always draw three-dimensionally. I hardly started from the side view, but you can start it from the side view, but just don't be prisoned by the side view. And, or if you want this one little sharp, like this edge coming up a little, and then you just draw, come on, you just need to draw those, what is that? Draw this center line, draw this contour line. To draw this contour line, then you indicate, okay, now we can tell the form here, it's actually, I just transform into something like this. Make sense, guys? Are we good? All right, good. I need better lights. All right, so, and then let's figure out the transition with the rest of the shape or forms. Okay, let's go crazy. Not too crazy. And maybe we have some, you know, this is how this part's connected with the rest of the world. And then maybe we have some cable, some very strong things to connect it with the shape. Okay, connect it with the shape and also with the bottom plane. Please feel free to cut it. So that's what my point, to do not be prisoned by this box, but I hope everybody can see. Now I just keep cutting this surface, and then I just create a, you know, also this one extended down a little, and then I create a little undercuts here. I'm sorry for this terminology. I create a little hole here, kind of like feel like something, you know, you could come in from this side. You can come in from this side, right? So that is something I want. And this part, actually, we could have something, you know, little detail, little contrast. And you also could have those screws to make it looks better. But anyways, this will be starting from a box, and we can continue cut the back, because now we got a lot of things here, kind of the back, we need to keep changing them. I don't have anything. Okay, I already like this. How about we doing this? And now you can see the back actually gradually. So this line is actually, it's also, I would say it's also very dynamic. It's not a straight line. It's actually curving down and curving something like this. So it's making it interesting. So it's just my habit. I always like to slant it at the back of the surface. So I guess now the side view will looks like something like this. Looks like something like this. You can continue make adjustment. You can continue make adjustment. Okay. I probably need some reference image. I'm sorry. I don't know. Cut it to see if we can create any contrast, a little contrast. So now we have something expand in the front, and also we have another contrast in the back. So you feel something looks very nice. It must have some reason. Just continue play with it. I'm still not happy with that one. So what should I do? You just make another shape. How about we do this? And then now your volume. Did you see that? I just changed the shape. Okay, now I feel a little better. I don't know about you, but what do you think? Now, this shape three-dimensionally, actually it's expand. But I don't need to draw another side. I don't think we can see that, but I hope you can see I actually have a little volumes here. So now this part with this line, actually the side view, the cross section of this one, the cross section of this one, it's actually became something like this with this little subtle line. It's changed immediately. So this is an example. Don't worry about the messy drawing. I apologize. See, I often make my drawings very messy too. So don't worry about this. With the ideation stage, it's totally fine. And then you probably could add more details when you're moving forward to fresh out this idea. You know, if we really need this entrance, okay, should we having a screen and should we have more texture? Actually, I think it's nice having some texture here. You know, when I say texture, it's like maybe it's glasses. It's have a, you know, glasses is not just one piece. It have many different pieces, connect them together. And then maybe this too, also different material. I would say it's too much, but we certainly can do that. And then fresh out idea, you have a more material, more surface transition. Believe me, it will pays off. If you have a more surface transition, when you do the Photoshop, you get a lot of chance to draw all those details. It just became very sophisticated that way. And yeah, I think that's it. All right. So good. Let me see how I can stop a video. Stop a video. Am I recording? Stop shooting and stop recording. Okay, now I'm stopped.